Wonderful. So here we are starting Connectathon hour 6 with our collective presencing friends. We got Linda here and Jade and John, who are collective presencing practitioners. Rupin and I have also been engaged somewhat. We're going to this is we're very excited about this and so grateful that you are here with us for this special dialogue. So Linda, I will turn this over to you and I will be your tech support as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you for having us. I have to say, my heart is racing a little bit to come into a new community. So thank you for being here and trying this practice with us. Um, let's see, I think Jade and John are here holding the space for us all as well. And John has offered to bring us into the first part of like how this works, the protocol and the agenda. So I'm going to mute myself. Is that okay with you, John? Okay.
Hi, everyone. Good to see you all. Um, I'm John, and I'm going to go over some of the agendas and protocols for this practice known as collective presencing. Um, First and foremost, we would love to encourage you all, if you are in this, if you are choosing to participate into this practice, to turn on your camera, because it is a kind of circling and dialogical practice that invites and encourages that kind of degree of being seen and presencing.
And John, some people may not be able to, just so you know, they're in different parts of the world and their internet won't work properly, just so you know.
Thank
Thank
you. Would those people still be participating in terms of speaking when the practice is commencing, or would they be more of like watching from as an observer?
Maybe we
you.
can ask for a show of hands of who wants to participate in actively in the this next segment.
Okay.
So Sumit, for him, it's really late, and I guess he's yeah. So, and Chakri, I think Chakri is just gonna listen.
Summit is a yes, though. He put his thumb up.
Awesome. So we are about 16 people. I could begin with the agenda. Um, I'm going to spend maybe 5 or so minutes, 5 to 7 minutes with the agenda and the protocol, giving an overview of the practice. I would sense that Linda would be spending another 7 minutes, up to 7 or 8 minutes, until the quarter of the hour for a framing. And then the breakout room tech hosts, Kim and Rupin, if you could break us out into two rooms, divide the rooms, one, like also separate Jade, Linda, and I in some kind of configuration, so that one of us would be, at least one of us is in either room, so that when we enter into those breakouts, um, we would be first inviting folks to who are participating to check in, to presence anything that would make them feel like they are here here in this space, and which is a way that we invite others to kind of get the presencing muscles going before we share the question of inquiry, through which we will co- work with for the next, however, let's say 30 minutes until 10 minutes before the top of the hour. At that point, we would ask like if you can time it up to 10 minutes before the top of the hour to bring us all back into one room so that we could all just share like a few words or so to check out. And then we could end it off as that. If that sounds fine and dandy, I'm going to begin with the overview. Collective presencing is a circling dialogical practice that invites people to come into a shared field with one another through which we sense into what feels most alive for us at the moment in relation to what is unfolding within and as and through the field, as well as what is in relation to a question of inquiry that we are all collectively inquiring around. It is a practice that, instead of directly speaking to other practitioners, we speak through, from, and as the middle. We speak in a kind of posture where the direction is this mysterious middle that gives rise to, let's say, the unfolding dialogue, the unfolding inquiry, the unfolding presence, as if we are offering our internal knowing or inner world expression to this middle. And we do this, in a sense, one at a time, where a person will unmute their mic and give a gesture of like, I am picking up a piece, to signify that they are asking the field to attune and attend to their voice, their expression, and then they will speak. After so and so, there's a gesture, whether they mute their mic or say, I will put down the piece, which then creates this kind of buffer space through which whoever wishes to speak next can choose to do so. There's this convention that emphasizes slowness, that invites people to sense into what may not be the immediate thing they wish to say, but rather what is this, so to speak, deeper thing that might be arising from their sensing of themselves and also the rest of the room or the field. I'm going to invite Jade to share anything that I may be missing. Yeah.
Thank you, John. That was a beautiful, introduction to the practice. Maybe I'll add, as we're speaking from the middle, we use a talking piece, but sometimes it's colloquially referred to as a receiving piece, because we're not speaking from ego or speaking because we want to be known to have said something, but we feel we are receiving through a particular kind of sensation signature that's unique to you, that something from the field wants to be heard, wants to be channeled through you. So for me, that's a heartbeat quickening. Sometimes it's a tingling in my body. For every person, it might be different. But in this practice, we value silence and a lot of deep, deep listening to sense into when something wants to come through. And wonder if Linda, there's anything else you'd like to add?
I think that's good. I'll probably end up repeating something or adding something as I move along into the framing, but thank you. And thank you to Kim. Jade was remembering also that with Kim we have gone, we've had deep dives in the collective presencing field, and Women of the Red Tent was one that went for a few sessions. And also, Jade was a part of co-hosting a love session, a series of deep dives into what love is for us. So, yeah, I think what I am sensing, going into the ceremony that started today and listening as best I could through what Kim and Rupen and I believe Susie has curated here in these hours, is that you all are very familiar with this sort of moving into some subtle sensing. And I think that whole relational field feels so like it's calling us right now. We are in a state of urgency, and I would say that in the collective presencing field, that is a sign that we need to slow down and not try to fix, but just really be with. And part of the dialogue practice with a question in the middle that is not necessarily to be answered, but to bring up whatever images or dreams or realities that feel really relevant to you as you allow this question to enter into the field and into you. So that is, let me see, yes, it has that deep embodied feeling, as Jade talked about how her heartbeat is a sign for her. Also for me, it's my breathing will change just organically as I feel the coherence of the field happening. So it's that deeper wisdom of the body that seems to really say, give an embodied yes to the presencing that is happening from the middle and to the middle. The middle could also be seen as source. And can we speak from that place that is deep inside of us? And sometimes it's very vulnerable. And I think that's one of the beauties of this practice, is that vulnerableness is very much allowed and honored, and as well as little bits of singing and deep silence. Some people check in with silence. That is very much honored when it comes from a place of, not from avoiding, but from actually being in silence. So we honor that. I think the other thing that I would like to bring up is that this practice was initiated by a circle of women who met over several years in various locations, mostly in Europe. I think they came over to the States. But they called themselves Women Moving the Edge. So the foundation of this practice is circle work, and it is that ancient technology of sitting around a fire. And this is a circle that we are in here, and I'm loving how these communities are circling together now. I think it's another thing that really feels very powerful when everything outside can feel very painful to see what's going on in the world. So thank you for being here. And I am sensing there are 20, but I am sensing that it's probably about 16 who are actually presencing with this circle right now, with the amount of cameras on. So if I think let's try that. Let's try to be together. We have another. Yes. So we'll. I'll put. So I will put the piece. I will mute myself. The mute button is our check-in button and our piece. So when instead of having a talking piece, and we've seen some beautiful ones in the last few hours, but the mute button is our talking piece. And also, if you want to hold a stone or hold it up, that as well, recognized as well. So I will put. I will mute myself and put the talking piece in the middle for check-ins.
And Linda, you want to keep everyone here? I do have a room set up to go, or half can go to another room. Or am I hearing you want to stay all together here?
It just seems to me that we usually stay in the room if there are 16. It's a little bit different in this space with cameras turned off. So I'm assuming, I know Summit said that he is very much here, but he can't speak. But if I look at the cameras off, I would say, there's Chantel. Okay, so we have 4 times 3 is 12. So it looks like we have 14 that are actually presencing in this circle right now. And
Natalia just arrived, so she didn't hear the beginning. Natalia, will you be dialoguing? We're just getting a sense of who will be dialoguing. Grace Ann may be observing.
I'll be dialoguing. I'm just in the process of getting somewhere where I'll be settled and back on camera.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, we're ready.
okay, thank you.
Pick up the piece, and maybe just for myself and others who might be newer, we're going to try to invite everyone to check in, to speak to what is present, and whatever would like to, be shared for now. I'm feeling some nervousness around the new community and wanting to really share this practice with a lot of fidelity and reverence, and some fear that it may not land with folks who haven't practiced before, but trusting and feeling that there's a lot of skillfulness here somehow. So yeah, it's me. Put the piece back in the middle.
I'm checking in, appreciating the beautiful silence that's already here, and welcoming you into this space. And you're a friend and part of the space already before you came. Thank you.
Now I know why I picked up this rock from Mount Taranaki, our Maunga, which is the first mountain to be personified. And it's come in handy here for this. So it's always a special little object. This reminds me of a carver circle. And maybe that's something that we touch upon, because it's how you have this presencing where you use carver to relax your body and to get in the flow. Thank you.
And I'll check in with a thank you, and to say this is so many different communities coming here today, and we'll all go back into other communities and knowing a bit more of collective presencing. And I think I think it's been already started. So even though this is just a taste, because it usually goes longer, right? Where there's a much longer time and then debriefing. this is a taste, and it's the Wu way. The way Rupin and I came into this was very in sync without us even knowing it at all. We both joined collective presencing circles, different parts of the planet at the same time, didn't tell each other. And bringing Glenn into this, I had looked up in inquiry, I looked up, I was going to the Gebser conference online, and I just plugged in Jean Gebser and Otto Scharmer, and up popped Ria Beck, who's really is known for starting this, and she was hosting dialogue circles. So everything is in sync. Peace back.
I put the piece in the middle, and this is a rock that I picked up from Iceland, and I'm in India. That's where I live. But while my family and friends got stuck in the snow, I was busy collecting these volcanic rocks. Like Dave, I think I figured out why I picked it up. So thank you for that. And I'm just looking at my screen right now. And I'm looking at everybody's faces, and there is so much of variety, so much of color, so much of us that, and we spoke about separation, earlier in the session today. I think we're just so wonderfully one body of humanity with roots lying all over this world. And that is, I think, a humbling idea about why we would disassociate otherwise and be in conflict otherwise. So to me, this feels just, we're all a part of each other here. And let the party continue. I put the piece back in the middle.
I'd like to pick up the piece. I am, my screen just changed, so I was like, where did everybody go? I'm very it's just wonderful to be here, and these circles intertwining, weaving together. And I also, what's alive for me in the last few days, yesterday there was a meeting that I was supposed to join with a young man who lives in Turkey, but he is from Iran. And we had to switch the meeting. And he said, oh, I'm having, my family and friends are having a prayer hour, and you are welcome to join. And I was in such a state of pause, living in the United States, to be invited to a prayer circle with his family and friends. I literally I had to cry. I didn't know how to process that. I would like that sense of what they're going through, and how to be an American right now in a group with those people who are going through so much. But what a gift, to be, and this was a collective presencing meeting that was, as we're working through a new book to put on the website. So I just, I just want to presence that. I noticed we had a man from Ukraine. I believe he stepped out, but earlier. So yeah, I just want to bring that into the middle.
He's here.
Just came back. Vitali, we're doing their check-ins. Just brief from the heart.
Okay, thank you. Well, as I said, I'm glad to be here, and it's to tell the truth, it's my first experience to be in such a community where people from the whole planet, and it is really incredible because I have a chance to learn more about how people from different countries just feel something or think something in different styles. For me, it's just a fresh air, because it's not about I'm in prison, but I always try to be open in my mind, to communicate with different people, to try to understand their position, their thoughts about our reality, about our world. And really, for me, it's a great experience to be with all in such a good community. Thank you all. Glad to be here.
I'd like to follow my friend Vitaly, and my piece is actually a dancing Cossack given to me by another Ukrainian friend many years ago. And I'm John Ruffin. I'm from Santa Barbara, and I am in a number of other groups with others here, Kim and Rupin and Vitaly and others, I'm sure. Grace Ann. In any event, this is the first time I've had a chance to experience collective presencing, and so wonderful to be here with you. We need more of that. I'm just thinking that Vitaly's statement of how we come together across continents and yet sharing the same spirit and intention and sense of presence, and in a sense, much stronger sense of presence than we experiencing in this country in many ways this time. And so this effort of dialogue and presencing, needless to say, is what we need more and more daily to be able to get through this cacophony that we're living in and be able to stay connected. I'm blessed to be here with all of you. Thanks for the invitation.
I'm checking in from Ireland, a land I call Éire. And this is a wooden coin from a friend of mine who has a retreat center in Holland. And it's called an otter. So it just goes to show money does grow on trees. And I find myself checking in here today as a rebel amongst the rebels. So one of my practices is being a Quaker, and last Thursday I turned up in a Quaker group that's rebelling against a Quaker group that rebelled against the Church of England in the 1600s. So there I go. If I was in Star Wars, I would be Anakin Skywalker, who became Darth Vader. However, I find language is one of the things that catches me. I heard the word dandy earlier on. Now, a dandy is somebody who dresses up and puts forward their appearance before their essence. So I was caught by the word dandy. And then I heard circle work, and circle work? What about circle play? So I get caught by language all the time. And so even the word community, I've been writing today because I've been back in Ireland for a year and I meet communities that don't interact with each other. They are opposite each other. So come up with the word cosmunity as a cosmic unity. At least I get a chance to define some new words. But I find I leave the colonizing structure. That's what I do. And then I realize that the colonizing structure becomes colonized in its own consciousness. Boom. And that's harder work because now I have to find a form that doesn't oppose domination. I have to find a form that connects without reproducing the domination we left in the first place. So I'm a rebel within the rebels, a Quaker within the Quakers. I'm not a contrarian. I am a heretic, but heresy means a different form of thinking, that's all. So my check-in today is that I'm hoping that we achieve together a finer instrument of freedom.
Thank you. That was magnificent, Mr. Paul Mooney. And for you, I brought this, not just for you, for everyone. I brought this moon rock, which is here. It's not officially what it's called, but that's what we call them, moon rocks. There's tons of them out here in Placitas. This particular moon rock actually has a heart in the center. I don't know if you could see that. Can you see that? Yeah, I particularly was attracted to this moon rock. I don't think, Kim, that I've ever been part of a collective presencing group. I think this is a first, and what a wonderful opportunity. It sounds like the roots of the idea have a lot in common with some groups that I am familiar with, you know, whether it's Bohemian Dialogue or something, but hey, great. I loved everything you were saying, Paul, just before, and I just wanted to, you are a real wordsmith. I really enjoyed that. The word communication does, not sure that it's directly in the word, but communion comes to mind in communication. And communion is actually, the etymology of that is a common origin or even a source. I think we all have that. And look forward to it. Whatever happens here, I'm sure it'll be wonderful. Thank you very much. Blessed to be here.
I'm checking in. I've also been looking at all these faces from all around the world as we sit here in our little forest house. And everyone from such different backgrounds, such different creations to bring us to this point. And yet we have one thing in common, which is breath. And so just by sitting here and breathing together, the ripple we are creating, as Dave would say, really is magical. Like, it's the power of breath where no words and just stillness of nature, our nature beings, just breathing. That's all we have to do here. That's all I wanted to say. And thank you.
I'll just pick up. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, please go ahead. I was just checking in to see if there were others who are checking in. Thank you.
I guess picking up the piece, and it's a Peruvian shaker with birds and bees and all sorts of critters, and reminds me of the opening today where we talked about the ecosystems and the networks of networks. And just now I've come from a drumming circle for the equinox and a feast and being in community, and I'm sitting with you with this overwhelming desire and wonder and question in my heart of how do we hold in each of our breaths and moments the multiple worlds that are within us, and reverence for the sacredness that each of us is connected to in its distinctness and plurality. Peace back.
I'll pick up the piece. I have a piece of aquamarine with me, and I'm very, very shaky right now, from my toes all the way through my whole being is shaky, almost like phasing out. And when my camera was off earlier, I was actually checking my blood pressure to make sure I was okay. And then I started tracking back. When did I start feeling this way? And I'm gonna start crying. And Paul, it was when you were singing in the last session. And that song opened up something big inside me. And it's still kind of, it's like I'm being called and moved through, and yeah, really being with breath right now to just witness what that is and what is being asked of me. And I'll put my piece back in the center.
I'm picking up the pace. I'm feeling like I'm settling into this field and the kind of newness that it brings to my system. I'm checked in with that.
Just picking up the piece, if there's anybody else, I'll put back the piece for a minute to see if anybody else wants to check in. There might be some checking in silence, and then we can go into the question in the middle. All right, I'll put the piece in the middle. I am realizing we probably have about 10 minutes to kind of explore the question and together in dialogue. So it definitely is a sample taste of collective presence. And the question is the one that was that came with our session. What becomes possible when we are truly present together? And yeah, I feel like we are already moving into that question quite beautifully. So I'll put the piece in the middle for dialogue. I'll actually pick up the piece. I think one of the things that's really been on my mind lately is the practice of witnessing. And when we are present together in a space where everything from dreams and imagination and the imaginal are also welcome. The woo, as the woo woo, as was said earlier in the previous session. When those are, I was actually in a community recently with Jeremy Johnson, who teaches Sean Gebser's work, and Cynthia Bourgeot, who is a mystic that some people know, who's written about the eye of the heart. And when we were talking about witnessing in that practice, we were also talking about community and the idea that does the past, our ancestors of the past, and the future, are those all present with us when we are in these spaces of community where everything is allowed, and we move through the intensity of the world as opposed to trying to block it out. So that's just something that's alive for me. I feel like witnessing is also has a very primal quality to it, and this deeply rooted togetherness that is a part of us. Peace back.
Picking up the piece, if that's okay. I wanted to ask, what quality of being present together? Is it only in the state of being in oneness and harmony inside, or what if we're present but there's an anger in that presence? How do we respond to that? Is the presence a yin and a yang, or just one? And for some reason, I feel called to share a story that Tara Cullis, David Suzuki's wife, shared last night on stage about their first date and how it was disrupted in their moment of presence together with someone that seemed very lost and confused about where they were. And he may have gone into traffic and been hit, and no one was doing anything because they wanted to exist in their present, which was previously harmonious. And she went outside and really tried to make sure that this person was okay, and that there wasn't an accident. And so I question, like, what do we do when we're present? What is the next piece?
I'd like to, wow, that's very interesting what you just brought up. To the question about what becomes possible when we're truly present together, and then also the question about whether the ancestors of the so-called past could be with you in the presence, and also the people who have not yet been born of the future could be with you. I would say yes, they can. Absolutely. And in one word, I would say what becomes possible when we're truly present together is love. So, and what I mean by that, love doesn't divide presence. Ultimately, time doesn't either, so that's why love is timeless. And all things are possible when you're in undivided presence. All things become possible. The so-called, the question that just got brought up from Natalia, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, that's very interesting. So I think there can be an illusion that we're in some kind of simply harmonious presence, and we can not want to go out of that because that feels so peaceful, so much at oneness that a disruption may be completely ignored. So I found your question very interesting, and but I think true presence would allow in for that so-called disruption, and you would just be able to move fluidly to help, as your friend did. So that's I don't know. Blessings to all. Thank you.
Right, I pick up the piece, and Natalia, that's a very pertinent question given the state of our times, because and otherwise also across human history, we've been more at conflict and war with each other than at peace. That's statistically documented. I think personally, because I partly work in the mental health space also, and working with young people, working with any age group, you realize that mental health or the mental state is a response to institutional health and design and the intent. So it's almost like the system is becoming the message, and that conflict that you refer to is because we've misdesigned our ways of engagement, our reasons for engagement, our reasons for pride and joy and hatred and just dissing something. So I think we are at a juncture where all of these questions literally don't have an answer, but do have a direction that we can follow. And as far as carrying the history with us is concerned, there's another very interesting statistical insight there that we've been about 117 billion people who've come and gone, or some of us are still walking around. So, and the other parallel is that we constitute about 0.01% of the total number of species on the planet. So when you look at the way we understand our location in the context of things, that's messed up. And it's calling for a review, very deep inside, a very, very honest, authentic acceptance. We can apologize to the younger generation as much as we want, but at some point of time, they're also going to apologize because we're leaving them increasingly under-equipped. So there's no one single answer, but I personally think it's the loss of direction, the loss of philosophy, the loss of art and heart. Yeah, love too. So all you can do is just send out a beam, or send out a sort of a beam, a vibe saying, I wish you well. That carries weight, that carries energy, that has exchange. We've always wondered, what is vibing all about, right? So there's nothing that really describes and defines it, but we function like that across the globe, across timelines, across generations. We've imagined and the person's appeared, or we've just found them on Facebook popping up, or something like that happened. What is that? So there is an energy system amongst us that we've completely corrupted. We've tried to dumb it down across generations. And yeah, here we are at a point where we should just decide to evolve. It's a choice that's come to us eventually across all the wisdom there's ever been. I put the piece back.
This is reminding me, my thinking shifted in bringing in the question about the ancestors. So like, oh yeah. And then because even as much as I hold in my conscious awareness how connected we are, everything all the time, I was reading the question and I was thinking about humans right here. That's it. And what becomes possible when we remember, this, what we've been speaking of, the water, the sun, the elements, the trees, everything. How big is our we? And it seems confining when we're just like, even if we're humans and human made systems, what's possible when we remember everything else, everyone else? Peace back.
I feel like that's a beautiful note. This is a very short session for us. It's usually 90 minutes, but thank you so much. And we do have, I think, 5 minutes for checkout, which is an optional thing. But if you'd like to check out, which is just to say maybe what seed was planted or what you're going away with, or what's driving you crazy right now, or whatever's coming up for you. I'm checking out with gratitude. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you for getting us together for this reflection. Yeah, it's like crunching the hour till now before we move ahead. Thank you.
I thought in Māori tradition, when people have gathered and somebody has spoken, we sing a waiata, a song, to honor the kiriero, the voices, the way we share our mahi, what we do. So I will follow on from Paul and give you a short waiata. Hopefully I'll get it right. Last time I sung this was at my son-in-law's tangi, his funeral. Ka waiata kia Māria, hine I whakai, whakamia te mai, te whari tangata. Hine puratu, hine nako, hine rangi Māori e, ko te whaia, ko te whenga, atu e, ko te whaia, ko te whaha, atu e, atu e. So the translation of that is, let us sing to Mary, the girl who said yes. Let us be, as you say, that I and the house of mankind. A simple girl, a strong-hearted girl, a quiet girl, the mother of Jesus and the mother of the whole world. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm sure many of you are aware of the fact that when we sing together in choral verse, our heartbeats syncopate. And I think that's just one of the most beautiful evidences of collective presencing, togetherness, being together. So I too will end off on a song I will check out. The river, she is flowing, flowing and growing. The river, she is flowing down to the sea. Mother Earth, carry me, a child I will always be. Mother Earth, carry me down to the sea. I'm complete.
Thank you. Deep gratitude. And thank you for demonstrating the power of simply checking in with heart that actually accomplished probably everything we needed. Thank you very much. Blessings. Bye.
I'll check in with another object. And I second that, Glenn. This and Linda, you said this is a short piece, and yet we need all the short pieces we can get these days. And so thank you to you and Kim and others who've arranged this Connectathon. I wish I could have been present for all 24 hours, but the moments here do give us that touch of presence and that sense of what's available to us if we allow it and if we welcome it. And I am certainly welcoming. Thank you. Blessings on all here.
We have about 2 minutes left, and then we break and the next circle comes in.
Picking up the piece, just checking out with the mystery of time and space and the ability to touch and be touched by you all. So many different parts of the world and the echoes of all the people and beings you're in relation with. It's quite a remarkable experience. So yeah, much gratitude. Thank you so much. Checked out.
We'll put in the chat here some information about collective presencing and the dialogues that are, open to all, the full dialogues. And just really want to thank Linda and Jade and John. And gosh, Jade, so good to see you again. Any final closing thoughts from anyone? Rupin.
I was feeling in my heart space a little bit of pain, but I think it's because it's getting bigger. I think I'm expanding here. And I think what becomes possible when we are truly present together is that the sincerity that I've heard in the singing, all the voices that were raised, they do their medicine on each other. They work their magic. They work us. Thank you. Thank you all. It was beautiful to spend this time with you all.